welcome once again to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the founders, they are your financial advisors of Allon Planning Partners, and I'm Spike Spangle. Jay, Brittany, it is wonderful to see you. We're still in the first quarter of this new year. How are things going for you both?
Wonderful. We're doing good.
Yeah,
it's good to be with you today.
Busy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a good start to the new year.
It has
We
been.
have the
Solid.
administration that is coming in. There's positive buzz in the markets, a lot of different things going on, but we want to make sure that we're always focusing on the retirement planning. What would you both like to cover for us today?
Well, we have some important questions that we think that everyone should address when it comes to their retirement, and so we're going to hit a few of those, if that's okay today. We're going to try to hit as many as we can in this period of time.
Maybe really it's questions you should be asking, right?
That's true.
People who don't know where
Yeah.
to begin, or, well, I don't know what I need or what I don't need. Well, here's some things just to bring top of mind today.
For you to think about, so for our viewers out there, have you considered some of these questions before you step into retirement? And maybe even if you are in retirement, do you want to review these questions? And of course,
Right.
I'm going to talk to the two financial advisors here, kind of get an idea of what their answers are, or at least what we should be considering. One of the first things I think a lot of folks out there are wondering is, when exactly can we retire? Now, that seems like a pretty simple question. Maybe you're tired of the boss. Maybe you're tired of the industry.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to spend more time with your loved one.
Your family.
But can we still retire at a 64, 65, 66? What do you start thinking about when it comes to the time consideration?
Well, it's very individualistic first with everyone. You have to take a look at not only where your assets are and how they're positioned, but do you have an income plan in place? And so I can talk about the X's and O's all day, because that's what we do. We can sit down and say, do you have enough to retire, and are your funds positioned in a way to where they will last you throughout your lifetime? You don't have to fear running out of money. But there's also an emotional component to this, is because we sat down with a lot of couples, actually, and last week I was with a couple who the husband's ready to retire 3 years ago, right? And the wife was really concerned that they didn't have enough to make their retirement dreams come true.
Right.
So she's like, please just keep working so that we have a little bit more nest egg. And so sometimes putting those X's and O's down and knowing, okay, how much are you going to spend through retirement? What's inflation look like? What's the patterns of your life when it comes to spending? What do you have set aside? How's it positioned? And then can you retire, right? And giving them that kind of cue. But I would sit down, especially if you're married, and have that conversation together.
Well, that's not unusual, though. 48% of couples actually don't agree when it comes to the basic timing of retirement. So usually what he just explained is what we see all the time, you know? And so getting on the same page, and what helps with that, what he just said, getting those X's and O's down, knowing, okay, we have to replace our income. We're not getting this standard paycheck like we used to, so we have to replace our income. How are we going to do that? We have these assets that we've amassed, whether it's real estate or investments, 401ks, IRAs. How are we going to actually take distributions and turn these assets into income for us to live on? When you actually realize, oh, I do have this plan in place, and here's how I've considered inflation, and here's how I've considered taxes, and to ensure I'm not going to run out, man, it really does give peace of mind, and then you can really come together if you are married as a couple, or know for sure on your own as an individual, man, I can retire with confidence because I've done the planning, I've done the nitty-gritty, I've dug in, and I've prepared for it.
Right.
When you say 40% of couples often disagree on the timing, what is it that they're disagreeing on? Sooner or later? Are you saying that, hey, I want you to be able to step away from this so we can enjoy more time together? Or is it one of the spouses saying, I'm not sure if I can do that soon? I don't know what our nest egg is. What is it? Is it more the fear of having enough, or wanting to enjoy that lifestyle?
That's the core.
Yes.
The fear of not
lack.
having enough. Yeah, the fear of lack. That's a good way to say it.
And so it's usually in a relationship, most of the time we see a spender and a saver, right? And so they're going to have various different opinions on when they should retire, when they should stop putting away money in their retirement, when they can start enjoying their retirement, right? And so putting an income plan together, is what Brittany was talking about, is very important. Did you know you can optimize your Social Security? You know, you can actually take a look at when's the best time for me and my spouse or together for us to take Social Security to create a part of that income plan. Did you know that you could look at your real estate investments? how your taxes are positioned within your qualified accounts, right? To know when should I be withdrawing these funds out to be most maximizing my retirement dollars.
Well, which this
you have to do that.
Yeah, and this actually leads us into another question: is how much money am I going to need?
Okay.
What's the income dollar I need, or what is the magic number, so to speak, that I
People
need
want a
to
magic
have saved
number.
up? But let me burst your bubble. There is no magic number. It doesn't really work that way. It's going to look so different for each individual and family, and it's based on your own spending patterns. It's based on the income that you are accustomed to having and how things within your lifestyle are going to change or remain the same when you do reach that point of retirement. It's not a blanket statement. People often just want to, if you're literal like me, I want give me a number, right? Now, if we sit down with you, we can navigate that and give you that number, right? We can provide that, but not over something like this that's very broad.
Well, because
it is very specific.
we try to redirect the conversation from what's my magic number? I hear it's 1.5 million, I hear it's 2 million, I hear it's 3 million. What's my magic number to what's my lifestyle desire?
Yeah.
And so if I can pinpoint your lifestyle desire and what the goal is, how you are maintaining your lifestyle, I'll give you your number. But I can't just come up with an arbitrary number and say, you have $1.5 million, go ahead and retire. Like, if you're spending $20,000 a month, you probably can't do that.
Yeah, and we totally understand that you're looking for a simplified answer out there. We're now in a one-click society. We all want our answers right away.
Right.
But then math is all about the inputs. Even if you're thinking $1 million will do it, or 1.5, are you taking into consideration the tax element of it? Is this 1.5 million that's been taxed or hasn't been taxed?
Right.
And then what I've always wanted to know about that $1 million question, is that enough for retirement? Is that for one person or for two?
Right.
Yeah.
You got to figure out, what is the
Great
spend,
question.
what do you want the lifestyle, and factor in longevity. That's a lot of different inputs for you both. So how do you feel comfortable? Do you like to do the lifestyle planning and then back into a number, or start with what we have and try to design a lifestyle? Chicken or the egg?
Well, a great way to begin is beginning by what income you're accustomed to. Looking at, okay, what are you used to living on, and how does that feel? How does that work with your spending patterns? How does that work? Is it comfortable? Do you need more? Do you have some extra that you're finding you have kind of at the end of the month? What's it look like? And really build out from there. You know, that's a good starting point anyway.
Yeah, and so it is a chicken and egg question. You did very well by describing it that way. But because you do have baskets of money that you're going to pull from, so do we create a lifestyle from that? But I agree with Brittany that we start from, what does your lifestyle look like right now? What have you become accustomed to? And because you do not want to have to drastically change your lifestyle to be able to retire. Because, you know, we want to make sure that you have 100% of the income that you have right now today, if you retire tomorrow, that we can replace it. Because nobody wants to go and cut their lifestyle by 30% just to continue not working, right? You want to make sure that you're continuing to live the lifestyle you become accustomed to. So we take the buckets of money that you have and tell you when that's possible.
On today's program, we're going to continue to talk about some of the most important retirement planning questions you need to ask yourself. We're going to continue with how do you create the income from your different sources that you have. But before we do that, on the bottom of the screen, we have a complimentary written financial plan for our viewers in some of the newer markets that you're in right now. As financial advisors, can you maybe explain to them exactly what that will mean for them?
Yeah, we offer a complimentary consultation for all of our viewers where you come in and we sit down and we talk through all of these questions together. Again, if you don't know where to begin, that is okay. We have a process that we can walk through with you to ask the questions, to get the information to help you navigate this whole money thing that we're all working out together. Right. And we've actually written a book. We have a resource here for you. When you come in for the complimentary consultation, you will receive a copy of this. It's called the Allon Approach, and it talks about how purpose-based financial planning can bear fruit in your life, how to make your money work for you. And we talk about all the components of a comprehensive financial plan, what it actually looks like, what it includes, and how to build that out.
Folks, call the phone number you see right now down on the bottom of the screen. When you call and make an appointment, you'll get a complimentary copy of the book as well. You'll actually get your written financial plan done by the team here of Allon Planning Partners. How do you actually create income in retirement? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this message.
Allon means oak tree, and when we began this firm 7, 8, 9 years ago, something like that, we were searching, trying to determine what do we really want to build this foundation on? How do we want to depict and share this mission that we have with the world? What does this look like?
And so as we were processing through what should be the grounding factor, the name of our company, Allon really stood out. It's actually the Hebrew word for oak tree.
And we knew that the oak tree was going to be the symbol for what we are, how we operate, because those are the kinds of financial plans we want to create.
And so Allon comes from the Psalms, where it talks about the tree that is planted by the water, that has deep roots, that even in times of drought, this tree can sustain life, and it bears fruit in every season.
That really became the foundation and the mantra of our firm. Why we do what we do, who we are, how we operate.
We want to create plans for people with deep roots that even in times of turmoil it hits their life. Maybe it's a death in their family. Maybe it's another financial crisis. Maybe it's COVID, and something that we can't even see coming, but the roots are so deep that they bear fruit in all seasons because we have a plan for every season of life.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with financial advisors Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the founder of Allon Planning Partners. I'm your host, Spike Spangle. Today, what are some of the most important questions you should consider when it comes to your own retirement planning? How do you create income from those assets? Now, when we consider our net worth, you have your home. Hopefully, we're close to paying that off, maybe as we're in retirement. Sure. We have our 401k or 403b or 457 or whatever they might be, our outside investments. Mm-hmm. Some folks have real estate. Some folks like to buy chunks of gold. Maybe you're following the crypto, whatever it is. But we need to turn this into income. How exactly do you do that?
Yeah, and first you need to make sure that you understand how each of those different asset classes are positioned. So you have to make sure that you're taking appropriate risk tolerance for where you're at now, because a lot of folks, they've spent 30, 40 years accumulating money, and it's been a growth, and it's pounded into our DNA that we have to just be as aggressive as possible to grow these funds. Well, when you're in and near retirement, you have to take a different approach. You have to take a distribution approach to say it's no longer about the average return over 40 years, but it's really about how I'm positioned now for the sequence of those returns to play out within my portfolio year over year that I'm taking withdrawals. And so we start with an assessment of how are you positioned? Do you have all 5 asset classes covered? Are you diversified fully? And then how much risk within those asset classes are you taking? So we put together a comprehensive income plan based on wherever the assets are that the folks have coming into us, and we try to position them in a way to where they can maintain that lifestyle.
You're kind of getting to a point of risk tolerance, and we're just kind of saving for 20 or 30 or 40 years in those retirement accounts, but the risk tolerance has to change as we get to retirement.
It does have to change, and really you've got to work through a true distribution strategy, because what we see is a lot of times you think, I've got a 401k. Mm-hmm. I've got however much X amount of dollars amassed within this 401k, and I'm just going to take money out when I need it. That's the typical approach. I'll just take what I need when I need it. What I'm used to getting, I will just take distributions from that. But when you take that approach, there is so much that you are missing. Mm-hmm. You're missing the whole conversation around taxes, which we haven't even barely touched on today.
We'll get there.
Yeah, so taxes is a big thing. When you're the distributions you're taking from different accounts, how they're taxed, because if you're using a 401k for all of your income distributions, you have a tax debt. Whether you feel it or see it or not, you have a tax debt because some of those dollars are not yours. And so planning for that impacts your income. That impacts so much about your entire plan when you're not considering the taxable implications there. So it can be a bit of a challenge to take the assets you've amassed and putting together a strategy to, okay, how do I take this rental property, this house, this second home, or these individual retirement accounts, or what I've inherited from my parents or family, and actually turn that into dollars that support your lifestyle. That's what we do. We help folks craft that strategy.
income is the outcome. And I think there's a large focus on amassing assets, whether it is real estate or whatever we were talking about. But you've got to know then what that income element is. So which ones can you turn on, and then in what order? So I will get to the tax element of it. Look, for our viewers out there, we totally understand. For the most part, as a country, we've been kind of taught, whether it's through water cooler advice or our aunt or uncle or mom and dad, to save tax deferred in those 401ks for 3 or 4 decades. Eventually, you're going to have to pay those taxes.
Right. And we do not know the rate at which you'll have to pay in the future, right? We know the rate today. We know that we're in a very low tax rate environment right now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we do not know. If you look at our debt as a nation, we would say that it's probably going to go up, right? Your tax rates. So what we try to do is we try to make things simple. We don't want to confuse anybody. Taxes, when folks come in, it's very disappointing sometimes when they haven't thought through this. And they come in with $1 million in their investment accounts, and we have to say, well, a large percentage of that's going back to Uncle Sam because you've got a partner here. How do we minimize what he gets? That's what we're trying to do. And so we've created a simple tool, which is a tax calculator. If you would just go to exchangемytaxbill.com, it's on your screen now, fill out 2 minutes worth of information. It's going to give you a rich knowledge, a base of knowledge of how much taxes that you're going to owe in retirement and how there may be some steps to minimize those taxes, and that's where we step in to strategize with our clients. So I encourage anyone listening right now, hit exchangemytaxbill.com, scan the QR code, and it'll take you 2 minutes to fill in that information, and it'll give you peace, at least an understanding, okay, here's how much my tax debt is at current. How can I minimize that going forward?
And the great thing about this tool in front of you folks, as Jay is saying, 2 minutes, it's not even that hard. I just did it a few minutes ago myself. Open up your phone if you want to the camera function, point it at this QR code, okay? Then you click on it. It'll take you right there. You put in your name. Hopefully you know that. You put in your email address, and then how much you think you have in tax-deferred accounts. A few $100,000, $1 million, $2 million, whatever that number is. You can even combine it with your accounts with your spouse as well. How much do you have in there? Then you slide in what you think your tax rate is. You can just go from the tax rate of what you had last year. And it will tell you exactly how much you're going to owe in taxes on those accounts. It'll tell you right there. Then it's what do we do with that information? Then we can call the phone number, sit down. Maybe when we come back, we'll explain a little bit of the tax process.
Because once you run that and you actually see how much is yours, what you get to keep versus how much the government gets, that's where you can really begin to build your income plan because you see, oh, this is really how much of these dollars are mine, right? Not building an income plan off of the larger number because that's not accurate. We want to help folks get an accurate representation of what their income strategy should look like. And this is a really valuable tool to help you do that.
Right.
And the decision that you can make for yourself or with your financial planning team is, would you rather pay taxes now in one of the 3rd lowest tax brackets in U.S. history, or would you rather wait and pay them down the road when taxes could be much higher? Go to Exchange My Tax Bill right now so you can figure out exactly how much you owe in taxes. Absolutely free tool. Don't go anywhere during this message. We're going to answer some more questions on what you need to know before you retire right after this message.
Hi, I'm Jay Hagy, owner of Allon Planning Partners. Well, you've probably heard a lot about Roth conversions lately. First of all, what are they? And second of all, how could they benefit you? A Roth conversion means getting your money out of those tax-deferred accounts like 401ks and traditional IRAs where you've been kicking the tax can down the road for so many years. But really, the question should be, is kicking it down the road really in your best interest? You have a partner in those deferred accounts. It's Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam is going to take his cut from every dime that grows in that account when you decide to take it out. So let's give Uncle Sam the boot from those retirement accounts and let every penny of future growth be tax-free. Well, with the highest national debt we've ever seen, taxes are not likely to decrease anytime soon, placing a giant tax bullseye on your back. So a Roth conversion is getting your money out of those tax-deferred accounts, paying the taxes now while they're on sale, by the way, and then getting them into accounts where your future dollars can grow tax-free the rest of your life. To experience this tax-free retirement, you do need to sit down with a fiduciary, someone who specializes in retirement planning. So just call the number you see here or scan the QR code and let us help remove that tax bullseye off of your back.
Welcome back. You are with financial advisors Jay and Brittany Hagy. They are the founders of Allon Planning Partners, and I'm Spike Spangle. What are some of the things you need to consider before and even during your retirement to make sure you can be and stay retired? Just coming off your commercial there, the Roth conversion. I don't think you're estate planning attorneys. I don't think you're CPAs, but you seem to talk about all of this stuff. How do you help somebody with the Roth conversion? How do you identify if somebody should or is eligible to do so?
It's important, right? That's why we do it. We're not CPAs, we're not estate planning attorneys, but it's a valid conversation to have because it's not just about investment management, what we do. It's about ensuring that those investments are working for you the most efficient way possible. And so when we talk with folks about Roth conversions, typically we're looking at the tax bracket they're currently in and saying, okay, you can pay X amount, we can ladder a strategy out throughout a number of years or whatnot because when you hit required minimum distribution age at now 73, you're going to be told how much you have to take out in those qualified accounts. But we'll take a practical approach and say, if we take it out over a number of years and put those into Roth accounts, those dollars, convert them over so that we now have a bucket that's growing tax-free forever, even passing it on to people that inherit those funds, never have to pay taxes on them. Does that make more sense in today's tax environment or tomorrow's tax environment, which we do not control or understand? And so it's a very individualized conversation. Not everyone is it a fit for, but a lot of folks need to look into this to see if they should be putting some of their qualified tax-deferred 401k dollars into Roth accounts over time.
Brittany, you've also said that it can help you maximize your Social Security even if you've already turned it on. How does being tax efficient help with your Social Security?
Man, Social Security is such an important component. Social Security is a big part of your income plan because it's something that we typically all begin with. So what we want to do is ensure that we are planning for the taxes that we know are going, because listen, you have to pay taxes on your Social Security income. I don't know if you knew that or not, and I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you do.
That's right.
Social Security benefits are taxable. Some folks, it's 0%. That's awesome. Hallelujah for some folks. 50% for others, and up to 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxed based on a number of factors, such as your income, all of that. The point is, it is an additional taxable source for you, which just hits on this whole tax planning piece and the importance of that as well. So you also have to ask, what if there are changes within Social Security? I know that's really part of the conversation right now. If something were to shift with that, and we don't believe that those benefits are going to go away, but the system has to change.
That's right.
So if it were to decrease to where you only had 80% of your full retirement age benefit or 70%, how would that impact your income plan? In taking a look at that in light of your big picture, right? So another question to ask, how does that fit in to my plan, to my income strategy, considering Social Security?
It is definitely something for all of our viewers to be considering, whether you're a few years away from retirement or you're in retirement. The conversation being, it's looks like 8 or 9 years down the road from now, it could be underfunded, so a possible reduction. I hope and believe, and I don't know if you agree with this, we have all sides of the aisle on the same side of the aisle in D.C. now. So I hope they all come up with something
with a better
together,
solution.
Some sort of solution. There's a few different mathematical things they could do, but if not, you've got 8 or 9 years to possibly make up a 10 or 20% reduction.
That's right.
It takes planning. There's something you could do about it, right?
That's right. We have to plan now because we can't wait until Washington gets on all sides in order to make a solution, right? We have to plan as if it is coming, as if there's going to be a 20% reduction to my Social Security income. What would we do? Well, we have to have a plan in case of that. We talk about this a lot. That's another question we should ask. the what ifs of retirement, the emergencies, the surprise. Here, this is what I mean. Look, we've got wildfires in California, we've got floods in North Carolina, we've got hurricanes in Florida. It snowed in northern Georgia and southern Tennessee. I mean, like, we never get snow.
It was fun because everybody had snow days. But
So
We
weather
loved it.
events, whatever it may be like, if you're displaced, if there are things in your lifestyle that have to shift drastically, do you have a plan in place to protect you? Do you have a plan in place that your income sources do not run dry? You have to plan for the what ifs in retirement as well.
And one of those what ifs, I think we've discussed it before, making sure that we've got coverages on all versions of healthcare. And it's
Right.
not just having Medicare, it's we're living longer. Do we have ways that we can protect our nest egg, possibly through insurance or annuity tools that can help us preserve that wealth for long-term care?
Because we know that 70% of individuals over the age of 65 will at some point need some form of long-term care. So it doesn't really become when you're looking at a married couple anyway, it doesn't really become a question of if, but when. And planning for that when, not just the what ifs, but the when this happens. So it goes back to this concept that we spend so much time talking about here at Allon Planning Partners. Taking a proactive approach to all of this, being prepared, pre-deciding when this surprise comes, when this event happens in my life, or when I face XYZ, this is how I can respond. And when you actually have a comprehensive plan in place, when you've covered taxes, when you've covered healthcare, when you've covered a solid income strategy, when you have a sound investment strategy that fits within your risk tolerance, man, you can walk with such peace of mind when you have all of those things set into place. That's what we do. That's what we work to help folks experience and really lay out, pen and paper, written plan. This is what it looks like so that you have your bases covered.
That's right.
Right, and this is also why I believe that you put the time and effort into putting together this book right here.
Yes, that's
If
right.
you call the phone number on the bottom of the screen, you schedule your appointment, you'll get a complimentary copy of their book. So much in here. Give me a quick review. What kind of fine information am I going to get in
Quick
here?
summary.
You're going to get a lot.
Yeah.
Quick summary. It goes through the 5 components of what a comprehensive financial plan
Right.
really is. It's not just investments. It is far broader than that. And we break down all 5 components in detail, not just acknowledging the problem, but offering some solutions to help you
We
improve.
keep it simple.
This isn't the only takeaway from making your appointment. You'll get a complimentary copy of the book. The takeaway that you'll get is the confidence in knowing that you can be and stay retired, that you're on the right track, and if you're not, Jay and Brittany will let you know what can you do? What can you do to make your plan just a little bit better? Get yourself on track. Have that confidence so you can sleep at night. Call the phone number. Thanks for watching the Allon Exchange. We'll be back next week.